The opportunity to congratulate all those that have contributed to the growth of this institution. In particular, program chairs, co-chairs, keynote speakers, special session, participants, PhD students, faculty, and everybody else in a direct or indirect way that has helped us to grow this conference and the journal as well in a steady fashion. And thank you very much, and I wish you again a great conference and a superb, intellectual interaction with your colleagues. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matthias Huss and myself would like to welcome you to this very, very nice meeting in Basel, and we are very proud to celebrate the 25th anniversary of this conference here in Basel. I wanted to say a few words about Basel. I prepared a very long speech, actually, until yesterday. A personal letter arrived from our president of the governance of the canton of Basel-Stadt, Mr. Morin, and with a welcome address, which I suppose to read here. And it's very brief, very clear, and much better what I have prepared. So I just read the letter of the president of this city and canton. So for those who did not know, this is a city and a canton as well. Okay, it's a pleasure for me to welcome you on behalf of the Government Council of the Canton of Basel-Stadt. Its central location, excellent transport links and good infrastructure make Basel one of Europe's leading fair trade and congress cities. I'm convinced that you will feel home here with us, as our city has a lot to offer to its visitors. Here you will find about 40 museums, a little bit much for Sunday, with a wide range of permanent collections and special exhibitions, numerous galleries, and a lively theatre and music scene. Moreover, Basel is home of Switzerland's oldest university, and the historic city centre is one of Europe's finest. But despite its wealth of history, the city is also open to all kinds of innovation. In the last few decades, it has become a real treasure house of modern architecture. Basel-based architectural firms such as Herzog & de Meuron and Diener are putting up amazing buildings all over the world. And Basel demonstrates its enthusiasm for innovation in the world of business too. We have the world's highest density of successful life sciences companies, also in cooperation with the University of Basel to complete that, and are home of the headquarters of Roche and Novartis, two of the very biggest pharmaceutical companies. You will see that an inspiring environment awaits too, which will help ensure that your congress or meeting is a success. Okay, so these are the words of Mr. Morin, the president of the government of the canton Basel-Stadt. What he does not mention, that Basel is also a financial center. We also host one of the two headquarters of UBS. We host the Bank of International Settlements, and also the Basel Committee is located here, which is actually to be separated from the BIS. And you will actually see two of the representatives of UBS and the Bank of International Settlements tomorrow in our special session on financial stability. Okay, so we hope that you will enjoy this conference, and I now forward to Matthias Huss, who will say you a few words about the conference program.
Yes, well, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, a very warm welcome from my side as well. Of course, I'd like to keep this brief, but as Heinz said, I want to say a couple of words on how the program evolved. But first of all, thank you, John. I'd like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to host this annual event here in Basel. I think that's a big honor for us. It's the 25th anniversary event. Sorry. Thank you. But I'd like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to set up what appears to be a really strong program. I guess that's not only our very own opinion, but that's what I learned from a lot of brief chats that we had over the day with you participants. Thank you. I mean, the selection process this year was really competitive. We received more than 600 submissions, then had decided on 250 papers to invite, so very glad you're here. And in this sense, I wish all of us an inspiring event, a lot of controversial discussions. Thank you. And I'd like to give the word to Andrea Schenker-Wicki, Professor Schenker-Wicki, who is the rector of this university. Thank you.
Dear Professor John Lucas, esteemed colleagues and students, are there any students? No, they're already out and having the apéro, perhaps. Huh? Distinguished guests and friends of our university, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure and a very special honor to welcome you today at the University of Basel. As in the past years, the EFMA annual meeting has again proven to be an internationally well-known and highly renowned event, bringing scholars and students from all over Europe and from far beyond our continent to Switzerland. We are very happy that you have joined us here in Basel. Financial markets and financial management are at the very core of every modern economy. They have a significant impact on economic growth and on wealth, providing both great opportunities and serious risks, as we have experienced not so many years ago. Today, financial markets are globally linked, integrated, and interdependent. Given their high complexity, a deep understanding of them is essential to managers, investors, policymakers, and even me as president of the university as an employer. It is with great concern that I look at the financial markets, their performance, and their impact on our pension funds. Innovations, new regulations, and the changing dynamics of financial markets transform our understanding of finance. For these reasons, financial research has been and will continue to be of great importance to society. The aim of the European Financial Management Association is to address such issues. Founded in 1994 by Professor John Lucas, its goal has always been to promote research and share the latest findings about financial decision-making. The EFMA has done so very successfully, becoming an important and globally recognized player in financial research within only a few years. Today, the association's peer-reviewed journal is internationally well established, and its annual meetings are one of the most important finance conferences in Europe. This year, you celebrate the 25th anniversary. Congratulations from my side on this great achievement. I'm very proud and happy that the University of Basel, our university, the oldest university in Switzerland, has the opportunity to hold the conference in this special year. In order to solve complex problems and provide enduring solutions, an enormous background knowledge, a diversified view, and multiple approaches are needed. Collaboration and exchange among scholars are thus essential. If today's challenges in financial management are to be effectively addressed, international events such as this and the annual meetings are great platforms that bring together researchers from different institutions and with different backgrounds. They provide opportunities for mutual exchange and learning and for creating long-term networks, fostering outstanding, original, and innovative research. Today, the annual meeting has already successfully started, and I'm absolutely convinced that it will continue to be a great success, as far as I heard already outside of this room. And you will have 2 days, still 2 days, and I'm sure that you will continue to have this great success. An accurate planning is essential for such an important event, and I would like to thank everybody involved for making this conference possible. I'm particularly grateful to the organizing team here in Basel, to Professor Heinz Zimmermann and Dr. Matthias Hus, and the lovely lady you have met at the welcome desk, Bettina Greiner. You have made it possible to have all these distinguished gentlemen and ladies here in Basel. And a special thanks goes to all the reviewers for providing their time and expertise in order to select the best contributions from the many papers, 600 we heard, submitted. And finally, I would like to sincerely thank the keynote speakers, the panelists, and all the participants of the annual meeting. With your precious contributions, you have provided and you will provide the very substance that constitutes the real value of the conference. Now I will leave the floor to Dr. Thomas Moser from the Swiss National Bank. I wish everyone present a very successful conference with many stimulating discussions and valuable new insights. And to all of our guests, I wish a rewarding time at our university and a very pleasant stay in Basel and a safe return to their countries. Thank you, and have a very nice evening.
Dear members of the European Financial Management Association, dear conference participants, it's a great pleasure for me to convey a warm welcome to all of you on behalf of the Swiss National Bank. This is the central bank of Switzerland, it's not a commercial bank. Switzerland already hosts this conference for the second time. The last time it was about 15 years, or exactly 15 years ago. It was 2001 in Lugano. And if you happened to attend the conference at that time, you may have noticed, or you will notice once you pay your hotel bill, that this time around you will receive significantly fewer Swiss francs for your national currencies. To be a bit more exact, if you attended the conference in June 2001, you would have received for €1 still more than 1.50 Swiss francs. Now you get about 1.08, so it's almost 30% less. If you happen to bring a US dollar, you would have still received about 1.80, and now you receive less than 1 franc for a US dollar. And if you happened to pay with British pounds, it was about 2.50 back then in Lugano, and now you receive 1.30, even though the British pound has been recovering today. So this is close to 50% less. So the reasons for this are twofold. One is the long-term appreciation that you have in the Swiss franc, both in real and nominal terms. But the second is, of course, the safe haven status that the Swiss franc has, which would also be a topic of this conference. And given the many negative shocks that increased uncertainty over the last years, the Swiss franc has been very strong. And the last of such shocks we just had on Friday with what has been called the Brexit, the yes vote on the proposal for Great Britain to exit the European Union. Now, given the extent of the surprise that the markets had on Friday morning, or already during the night, I think it's fair to say that the market reactions were relatively benign. At least that's what I would say, given the surprise, and especially all the markets worked orderly during Friday. And the surprise was quite large if you looked at the latest information that you had on Thursday night, and of course this was something we were following very closely at the Swiss National Bank. If you looked at the polls, I think the best information you received, at least what I looked at, was this index conveyed by Bloomberg, which took different polls and also adjusted them for the bias that the polls had related to former referendums or votes. And this index told you that the probability of a Brexit is about 42%. Now, as an economist, of course, you don't trust polls, you don't trust what people say, you want to see where they put their money. So I also looked at the bookkeepers, and if you looked at the bookkeepers, it was even more comforting because the probability for the Brexit on Thursday were about 25%. And the same was true more or less if you looked at financial markets, which had started to go into a risk-on mood over the few days before the referendum. So with this kind of comforting knowledge, we all went to bed Thursday night. Even though we were prepared at the Swiss National Bank, we had a special night shift, so our market peoples, they were present. We also had agreed that they would send us an email every hour during the night as the results from the referendum came in. I happened to wake up at 3:30 in the morning. I looked at my emails and I didn't go back to sleep then because it was quite a big surprise. And we had our first board meeting at 6:15 that morning. So I think what was helpful for us, at least, was that it was not just the Swiss franc that behaved or was taken as a safe haven currency. It was also the yen and the US dollar, so it was not singly focused on the Swiss franc, the flows that came in. That clearly helped, and as I said, given the extent of the surprise, I think the market reactions were relatively benign. And to our British colleagues, of course, we can say that we know how it feels. Switzerland also had 2 times a similar experience with referendums on the EU. One was in 1992, when Switzerland voted against the participation in the European economic area, which was a very tight result, 50 point something. And the second time, just 2 years ago, when the Swiss referendum, which was called against mass immigration, but basically for an exit from the free movement of labor with the European Union, was adopted with a 50.3% majority. In both cases, the Swiss franc did not depreciate, so we didn't have that economic effect, but we clearly also had, it was clearly also considered to be a negative for the economy, so we know how it feels. Now, as I said, I saw from the program that the Swiss franc and its status as a safe haven currency is one of the topics of the special sessions, and there are also other topics that are very relevant to the central banks and in that sense also to us, the Swiss National Bank. One is the session you have on digital currencies, which clearly is on the one hand to some extent a challenge to the central banks. On the other hand, if it's issued by the central banks, also provide central banks with additional policy opportunities. And then you have a special session on financial stability, an area where central banks over the last years have clearly gained additional responsibilities, which is a topic that is very hotly debated, not least here in Basel at the BIS, and I know that Yun Jin will also participate in this panel. So a lot of interesting topics, also very relevant to us, the Swiss National Bank. And again, on behalf of the Swiss National Bank, I wish you all a very successful, excellent conference and a nice day in Basel. Thank you very much.